Yeah, the joys, the joys. All right, guess what we're doing?
We're driving.
We are driving. But more importantly, check the glove box.
Check the glove box.
Welcome to the League of Returned Items.
Oh, yes. There's a number of things in here for that. Jonathan's water bottle.
We have a trip to make. To the
We
DMs!
do have a... Okay, that'll give us some time.
Favorite animal, go.
Cat.
Cat? Just regular old cat?
I own a cat. And it is cat.
So your favorite animal is your cat?
I am partial to brown tabby cats.
Okay, alright.
Although in high school, my favorite animal was a badger.
Badgers.
I did not have a badger, but I love the weasel.
I think it's probably a tie for me between foxes and puffins. They basically look like Dr. Seuss birds. They don't look like they should exist in real life. They look like little squeezed desk toys. They're like cooler penguins. My dad always taught me, he was like, the times when you need to watch out for deer, especially, are dawn and dusk. And that's true, but in my brain, that didn't mean, you could possibly see deers at other times. Like when I first started driving, when I was younger, a couple years ago, the first time I saw them in like midday, it was horrifying because it was like vampire daywalkers. It was like, this isn't supposed to happen. I wasn't scared because it was like, oh crap, there's deer running across the road. It's, oh crap, there's deers out during the day.
Yeah.
They're evolving. Once they learn how to work doorknobs, we're all screwed.
Right.
They're not even going to be mean. They're just going to ask for, like, sugar or something. Could I trouble you, sir?
For some cheese.
Some cheese. Deer's asking for cheese. That's why they go after the salt lick blocks. They think it's blocks of cheese.
There you go.
There's a laser tag place nearby that's split level.
Oh, wow.
It's got ramps.
Columbus is a big enough place for it, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yay, cities that we are leaving to go.
Yeah.
Drop off a water bottle.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Something like that.
because. The first, 15 minutes, I want to say, are in black and white.
Wow.
And then they transition to full color once she goes to Oz. And I don't think it was technically the first in-color picture, but it was one of the first. That movie's also way more violent than you remember, I guarantee you. There's a clip where they're all, sneaking up to the evil witch's castle, and one of them's got a rope, one of them's got a pistol, one of them's got a knife. The whole, vibe of it is just so funny, where you have, Glinda. She's like, oh, just take these wonderful items and go kill a witch! That's where I broke down. My fuel pump went out, going 50 miles an hour, don't fear, different car. There was a lady who was having a kid, and she didn't have her name picked out, and she was out of her mind on, pain meds. Oh, sure. And as they were wheeling her in, because she didn't have a name picked yet, the kid's name was Nosmo King.
Oh, no.
No smoking, because she saw it on the sign. Nosmo King. Here comes Nosmo! That guy sounds like he could run a cult at some point.
Oh my gosh.
I am Nosmo King. Alright. I'm gonna drop this off.
Yep.
Now, while I'm gone, it's very important that you do not, based on the dossier, you definitely have. You cannot, under any circumstances, tell anyone my superhero weaknesses that would make me completely inert if the world is attacked. So whatever you do, you can do anything else you want. Whatever you do, just don't list my superhero weaknesses, alright? Cool. Yep. Now that we're clear on that, I'm just going to grab the DM water bottle and I will be gone for a nondescript amount of time.
You'll be gone long enough.
Excuse
me? Long enough.
Excuse me?
What are the superhero weaknesses of an Eagle Scout? Paperwork, maybe. Maybe we'll go with that one. Fill his mailbox full of Eagle Scout mail. We've cracked it. He runs back.
Thank you for not telling them that because, my arch nemesis is coming tomorrow, so. Ooh. Just so long as, that information that you didn't say isn't in the ether anywhere, in the public consciousness. we'll be safe. Because, I am the hope for humanity, kind of.
You see, I already was able to time the release of this without you to that nemesis.
My name is Nosmo, by the way.
Liar.
I
Can't let you get away with that one.
My superhero name is Nosmo.
Oh, no, there we go. I can tell I'm a city person because every time I look at, well, not a big city person, but every time I look at these houses out in the country, I'm like, oh, they must be kind of nice to live in. Wait, but Wi-Fi.
Have you ever had a lucid dream before?
Where you're fully in control, or
Mm-hmm.
Only partial.
Partial.
Only partial, but I do get very vivid dreams, and my brain is very active, and there's a lot of life to the dream, including the one where I got stabbed by the Lord of the Rings Nazguls. Imagine a big rectangle.
Okay.
Right? Entering the rectangle, it's in an attic where there's the concrete brick walls. I dreamt it because I worked in lighting and sound, and there are catwalk hallways.
Oh,
right? So
okay.
people don't normally go up there, so they don't need to make it look nice, like drywall and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just cement. Boom. Right? And so there are these brick walls, and they're really close. It's really narrow. You can stick your elbows out and rub them against the wall, potentially. It's like, that's how narrow it is, right? So two of those hallways going straight into just a normal rectangular room with some equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what separates the two hallways is a wall, right? But a staircase going up, and there's the door leading into the rectangle room. I don't know where that staircase goes.
Okay.
Just up. Because what happens is I'm walking through the one hallway, and I turn, and the door opens, and out of it just starts flowing black smoke. Not only does the black, but then the Nazguls and the Ringwraiths, they come out in that pose where they've got their sword up and out, and like
No!
arms out. 1, 2.
I hate
3,
that scene
4.
so
Yeah,
much.
That's what they walk out in. I'm like, oh crap. And so I've come one way, and I'm like, okay, here's the other hallway that I'm going to bolt out of. Right?
Okay.
I've got to get going
Yeah.
now. And as I'm running down that hallway, I see the doors open. So, like, I don't know, there's your escape, right, that you're going towards, very cinematic. And there's white tape or chalk on the ground before the door. So it's very clearly like there's a finish line I have to reach. And as I'm like 2 or 3 steps away,
Oh my
blade
gosh!
comes through my chest.
Oh my gosh!
And then I don't remember exactly what happens whether I woke up or not. I don't think I did. The only way my brain knew how to process me getting stabbed through the chest was to respawn back in the other hallway.
What?
Reset the scene.
Freaking what?
And I'm still like, I'm still dreaming, right?
What
This
the
time,
what?
and my brain's like, you have to make it to that finish line.
What in the world? Your brain was just like, nah, we gonna go
We
again.
have to go.
We gonna
You
go
were that
again.
close. And this time I go through, I see, come on. My brain says you're going through it again. So I'm going down the one hallway, I turn, the door opens, the smoke out. This time I don't even wait for them to get out. I just go, and I run through. I make it to the finish line. I can hear them doing their scream behind me, chasing after me with the swords. I run through the door, and I fall into an auditorium, basically, where the nightmare just keeps going.
Oh my gosh.
It was no longer Nazguls. It turned out to be just work-related stuff and like bad coworker interactions. But it's like,
They each like take off the cloak. It's like mean coworkers.
And that was one of 4.
That's
In
crazy.
that 1 week. But the Nazguls take the cake.
The League of Returned Items. I don't even remember if that's what I called it before.
I have no
Check
idea.
the bag for the second item. It's in the furthest back pouch.
Why? Why? Where? Are you wanting me to show it to the camera? Is that what's going on here? Why? Kirby in Nightmare Land. Because that's what this was.
Kirby in Nightmare Land.
You gotta get a cut of the Nazguls going in.
Just a little pop-up Kirby in Nightmare Land. Nintendo's really lost their way, you know? They're doing some weird stuff. I know that at one point in time, Jonathan traveled around with the Pokedex. I drew a pufferfish with a tail that has 2 stripes on it, and a big open mouth, and big eyes, and spikes all over.
I might know the image of it, yeah.
And I didn't
forget its name.
I didn't play Pokemon.
Okay.
I didn't look at Pokemon cards. I'm showing Jonathan this picture, and Jonathan just like, his mouth just slowly starts opening as he's looking through my drawings, and just like, hold on a second, pulls out the Pokedex, and finds the entry for Quillfish, and then shows a picture to me. And my heart just breaks to 1,000,000 pieces. It's like,
my original creation.
I was like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that thing in my life.
Oh my gosh.
It's a puffer fish with a big open mouth, big eyes. It's got a little tail with 2 stripes on it. I was like, what the heck? Did you hear about the guy who tied a bunch of weather balloons to a lawn chair?
Nope.
He took a jug of water and he took a gun. He strapped a lawn chair to the back of his car with a cable, tied a bunch of weather balloons to it. Tons. Sits in the seat, cuts himself loose, goes up into the sky.
With no seatbelt or anything, you're just loose
just
in that
on a chair.
Yep.
He's on a chair. He hits the height where planes fly.
What?
Because a plane pilot had to call an airport because he reported seeing a man at 30,000 feet with a gun sitting in a lawn chair. And his plan was to shoot the balloons out to descend.
Down.
He only shot out a couple before he dropped it.
The guy?
Yes!
No.
Being up that high in the sky and then all of a sudden losing your one way of getting down sounds like a nightmare.
That's a very different one from the Nazguls, though. But, so really stressful week of work in lighting and sound in college at the same time.
Okay.
It's just, I think it must have been like a week long, one of those things where like you have all the rehearsals days before and then on the weekend.
Yeah, dress rehearsals.
It's a week long event. Basically, I'm out here on this road leading up to some sort of government facility, and we're way out in the country, but there's a government facility here and there's a government facility way over there. And these 2 buildings is all I know, right? I guess I remember in the movie they go in and then he turns into Hulk and wrecks the building and leaves, right? So I'm like, before that. So, and my brain was conscious of this in the dream.
So you're like, oh, this is from Hulk.
And so I'm expecting like, oh, I don't like where I am.
I don't like where this is headed.
So I at least knew that much. But I walk forward, and there's this dead skunk on the ground. And another one of my college friends from the same dorm floor walks up to me. He's like, ooh, let's try this. And he lifts his foot up to stomp on it.
Oh,
right?
no.
While I'm looking down over the skunk, right? He's like, and he's got this evil smile on his face.
Finally, my chance.
And he stomps down on it, right? And I, in the dream, am like, no, literally this, right? Green slime splatters up on my face, and I'm like this, right? And I wake up, and I sat up in real life, cowering like this.
No!
Why did he stomp on that thing? Why?
Why?
What possessed him to stomp on it when I was looking down on it?
That's literally last thing on my list to do when I see a dead skunk. And that's pre-hearing this dream. It's like, what are you going to do? There's a dead skunk. Not step on it!
Right. I saw, I think the street was Munich.
Okay.
And I almost thought it said Mulch, and I was so happy.
Welcome to Mulch Street.
It's Mulch Place.
Mulch Place is even better.
That's like Mulch? Is that for real? Oh, it's Munich.
That could definitely be somewhere nearby. There could definitely be a Mulch Place. I was just driving this way. I don't even know what car I was in. But this dude, full beard, sunglasses on this ATV, just giving me one of these. I immediately felt awesome. I was like, I don't know if I deserved that, sir. My hat is off to you, ATV man.
See, these roads, up, down, on like an ATV would actually be a more risk going woo.
Catching air.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, literally, like a couple weeks after one of the roundabouts went in, there were tire tracks that went up.
Because they didn't know.
Or they weren't paying attention, or they didn't care, or they didn't know how roundabouts worked.
Right.
So they're like, well, I've always gone straight here.
Third one's probably the tamest. my brain, for some reason, decided to just start pulling Legend of Zelda into all of these. I go down into my parents' basement.
Okay.
To go down the stairs and into the back room where the washing machine and dryer are.
Okay.
And I start my laundry or something. Then all of a sudden, I'm probably fabricating this, but we'll go with it.
Okay.
I hear a giant explosion above somewhere, because I'm in the basement.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, what the heck? And I turn, and for some reason my brain realizes Ganon, like the big beast Ganon, has entered the world. And I come upstairs, and half my house is just blown away.
Just walking up from steps into just air, and it's just like cinders.
And it's like I'm no longer in my neighborhood, even. It's like the sky is the red, smoky, dark. And that's kind of what it felt like, because my brain constructed for me, and I walk out, and the sky's red, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I turn around, and I see Ganon right above my house, just
crap!
staring me down. And that's when I woke up, and I was like, come on, really? Why?
And just again,
why?
just to state, these three are happening in the same,
in the same week.
Same week.
Back to back, practically.
Were you eating pizza or something right before?
I don't remember.
Did you ever get dragged to like a bring your children to work day? Ever?
We were taken into, I don't know that it was necessarily a bring your children into work
or just
day,
like a family day?
Yeah, we did get brought into something for my dad.
What? They did it. One of the ones when my dad worked for IGS many years ago, they gave all of us kids soda, pie, cake, cookies. They sugar everyone up.
No.
And then they sit us all down. Then they hand out paper airplanes, balloons, and like noisemakers. And then they have us sit down for like an energy seminar.
You know what this is for? This is to give the actual employees an excuse to not work, because there's the distraction of all the wound-up kids.
I was probably 12, and I'm looking around at all these other kids who are sugared out of their minds, and I'm like, who planned this? Like, this is a horrible, horrible idea. They did a freaking they did like field games, like outside.
Outside.
Yes, they did capture the flag. But there's so many freaking kids that nobody knows who's on whose team. Like, they didn't give us any signifiers to say, okay, you're on our team, you're on our team.
No jerseys or anything like that.
No, it's just like gather around and memorize faces. So what happens is, as soon as the game starts, like while the teams are still like getting ready, I just look at my team and I was like, hold on, I got this. I sprint across the field, and while they're still like figuring out their tactic, I spin around and put my back to the enemy team.
Yep.
And it's go. And I'm like, yeah, guys, go get him. And just everyone rushes past me.
Yep.
And so I just turn around, grab it. I pass the people running towards our base with their flag. Just the moment of realization of, wait, what? So I like Nerf way more than I like Airsoft.
Oh, yeah.
Nerf is fun, because if you get out, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm actually afraid to get hit with BBs of any kind.
I always liked pistols, even though they weren't, like, because you have to reload them.
Right.
But it's just, they were so easy to just whip out and use that I just liked, for some reason. I think what I did was, so we had, our next door neighbors had one of the bigger ones, and it had the chain, where you have one dart in each chain and it goes through, and you know.
Oh, like a belt?
Yeah,
a belt.
So I took
Oh
a duffel bag strap, tied it to one of each ends, and you wrap it around me so I can just pull one out from anywhere, pop it in the pistol, and it's like, now I've got a lot of ammo set up, quick load. And
did you have a bandana tied around your head and grenades?
I did not, but.
Oh my gosh, that would have been so cool.
I loved that setup. I'm like, I don't need to deal with clips. I can
No?
just pop, boom, and pick one up, put it in, right? It's so easy. And then the fourth one, which ramped up a little bit, I think, in its creep factor.
Okay.
So the closest setting I can describe is actually back to Lord of the Rings, funny enough. You know how like dark, dismal, rainy, and kind of close together that town is.
Bree, it's all like crowded and
yeah.
He's no destroyer, he sits in the corner smoking pipe.
Right, and you got alleyways, this is going to be important, you got alleyways between the buildings.
Okay.
So, another Legend of Zelda thing in here. Legend of Zelda and Lord of the Rings and something, they all come
Hulk.
together in this one, I guess. Hulk didn't. So I'm in this building where there's stairs up. It feels almost like, you know how, like if you think of crammed skyscrapers together and you've got like the windows that open and you see into each other's apartments in the city?
Yep.
Okay, we got that kind of vibe going on.
Okay.
In this room. You come upstairs and you enter into this very small, just rectangle of a room. And it's supposedly an apartment or something, but it's just a plain rectangle. And the first thing you see when you walk in are strings from the ceiling in this dark, foreboding room. And as you follow the strings from the ceiling down, you see, if you could combine Nutcracker with Chinese porcelain horror dolls.
Oh, gosh.
Sitting and laying down attached to these strings.
Heck no!
Right? It's like they have the fragility of the Chinese porcelain doll with the mouth of a nutcracker. Right?
Oh
It's
my
just like,
gosh.
what? And it's dark, storming outside. This room is practically candlelit. And as I walk in, and I guess the person my brain decided to be was a little boy of Wink. I guess.
Okay.
I don't know why, other than maybe I was just playing Legend of Zelda games or something.
You're watching a lot of Lord of the
Or like,
Rings.
I guess.
And playing a lot of Legend of Zelda.
I guess. And the one doll is laying down and it sits up. It like gets pulled up.
Heck no!
Right? And it's got its mouth going.
No!
And it lifts up and there's like light coming from the bench or whatever, and young sleeping Princess Zelda is there. Right? So it's like, it's a Sleeping Beauty with Nutcracker, Chinese horror doll, and Brie.
And then the Nazgul walk in.
There's all these dolls and I look
everywhere.
around and they're all staring at me. So it's like, this is a very creepy place. And I look to the left and there's another building right there with the skyscraper thing I talked about. So there's no escape.
Oh.
Right? And then in the other building, there's escape down onto basically the Brie Road or whatever.
Yeah.
You can get away, right? Because you came up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Very creepy room. And I'm like, this after the Nazgul? Come on. Right? Hooded old man walks in behind me, and the best way I can describe him is Aragorn, but much older and a rogue instead of a fighter.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And he comes in, I don't remember what he talks about, but being my brain choosing to be a little boy, you know, it's
Link.
like, oh, you've got little boy and old mentor scary rogue man, right?
Does he hand you a sword and say it's dangerous
He
to go
doesn't-
alone?
He does not. But maybe he should have, given the room. He comes in, he takes me away, explains the situation or something. He basically says, I have to be careful because of this girl's father or something. One of those.
Okay.
Of course, my brain pulls that in. And he makes some plan with me because what we really have to watch out for is actually the return of Ganondorf.
What is Ganondorf?
Now, it's not Beast Ganon this time.
It's just
it's
like
the human Ganondorf. Again, I don't know.
the bleed through of these are so seamless. I don't understand how it's even possible.
Right? And you've got the storming atmosphere outside again just as well, right?
What the heck?
And so
It's almost like you were going to have a Lord of the Rings dream and a Legend of Zelda game, and then all of a sudden, like, someone jumbled the things in the brain. It's like, you got some of your Lord of the Rings in my Legend of Zelda. You got some of my Legend of Zelda and your Lord of the Rings.
How do we rescue Zelda from these freaking creepy Chinese nutcrackers? And what we do is we walk back in, and I'm the bait.
Brilliant plan.
But you're Link, so you're supposed to be the one with courage to walk in.
Of course.
Right? And so I walk in, and from the window from the street, there's light, and Ganondorf appears right there in this narrow room, right? So it's like, oh crap, and the doll goes up or whatever. Big scary Ganondorf's in the room. The old man comes in through the other window somehow, where like where the supposed skyscraper city, whatever, is stopping you, right? He comes in, he runs, and he tackles Ganondorf out the window, and it's basically a suicide move, because in Legend of Zelda, Link, Zelda, and again, it's only those three, right? So I take Zelda, we run out, and then we enter into like Wind Waker version Legend of Zelda, where everything's just desolate, and it's just like, oh, now it's just you two in the world. Good luck, and I wake up.
Just the Finn in white text scrolling up. accordion playing softly. A bunch of French people stand up and start clapping. The worst possible thing in any given situation is just to have the door kicked in and like 9 Nazgul. Like, what's worse? There's nothing worse. Speaking of things that are creepy,
you need the clown.
Don't talk about Barnabas. Okay, just don't trust me. You don't want to. All right.
Don't run into Ganondorf out there.
I might.
Yeah, dreams. Right now, Max is out there talking to presumably his friend or the owner of, I think, Barnabas, the clown, who is, or maybe it's the guy's dad, on the roof spraying something on the gutter.
Here we go. There's Nazgul chasing me.